What is going on, my fellow movie nerds and geeks alike?
Hey.
Today, we are going to be talking about Maxine. The third entry in Ty West's X trilogy.
We got to go see it last night, a day early.
And before you go any further, there will be spoilers, so please make sure you see the movie first. Or if you want to watch this and have some stuff ruined for you, by all means, have at it.
Or if you're like me and have the memory of a goldfish.
Alright, to start things off, let's just talk about the story. So the trailer kind of gave away exactly the plot of this movie. It starts out with Maxine going to an audition for a horror movie. She's still trying to become a star. She's trying to escape her life of being a porn actress and stripper. So she goes in, she does an audition for this horror movie and gets the part. Someone from her past has shown up and is killing everyone around her and making it look like the killings of Richard Ramirez, the Night Stalker. So everyone's on edge. The people all around Maxine are dying. The police are showing up and interviewing Maxine, being like, how come all these people you know are dying? And she's just like, I don't know.
I don't know.
And Kevin Bacon shows up as a private eye representing who we learn is the killer. He's actually like chauffeuring him around and getting in Maxine's business and being a very over-the-top, as a private eye does. Slowly but surely, everyone around Maxine, even her close friends, are dying, and the police are hot on the trail of this killer who they're making look like the Night Stalker, but it's not. It's actually this guy in black gloves dressed in Giallo fare, killing all these people, and she's getting chased through the Universal backlot, through the fucking Psycho house, and all this stuff. Really cool. All Maxine wants to do is shut everything out and become a star and be in this horror movie, The Puritan 2, and she's just struggling with this killer going around. Everyone is going to this place in the Hollywood Hills and getting slaughtered all of a sudden. Well, Maxine just wants to become a star,
but she can't because someone else has other plans.
There is this religious cult presence at the filming of the Universal backlot with like horror movies.
Protest signs.
Yeah, horror movies equal the devil and all this kind of stuff. Like,
horror is not art.
Yeah. And you're kind of led to the conclusion that, like, oh, I wonder if this has to do with, like, her father being on that religious program from X on the TV, like, renounce Satan kind of thing. And, lo and behold, here is the major spoiler alert. The killer is, in fact,
her dad.
Her father, who has got his, like, cult-like religious members kidnapping all of Maxine's stripper and
prostitute, friends, what have you.
Yeah, friends, and just, like, slaughtering them in, like, a kind of, like, Videodrome kind of esque way. Like, Halsey, who shows up in the movie for all of 2 minutes, you see her getting, like, filmed, getting brought into this weird room, like Videodrome, and it cuts real quick, and they slaughter them and brand them with a pentagram to make it look like Richard Ramirez killed them.
I am here to save you, Maxine.
Yeah, so, like, the ending of the movie is, like, the religious cult filming Maxine taped up to this, like, palm tree or pole, and, like, her father is like, we are going to renounce Satan, we're gonna exorcise you. The cops show up, and it turns into, like, kind of a bloodbath that bleeds out into the Hollywood Hills by the Hollywood sign, where the cops start getting killed, and Maxine is face-to-face with her father lying on the ground while she's wielding a shotgun, and the end of the movie is essentially her coming to terms and saying that line, like, I will not stand for a life I do not deserve kind of thing, and she blows his fucking brains out. And we get to see Maxine finally fulfill her wish of starring in this movie. That's the end of the movie, so she does kind of become a star despite all the things getting in her path. What did you think overall of Maxine?
It was good.
Yeah.
I needed more. I needed more meat.
Yeah, I agree. I thought it was good, but I think I kind of built it up in my head a little bit too much. But it was still good, a great time, and like a great conclusion to the trilogy.
My expectations were set too high, and if you've watched any of our videos in the past, you know that I go in with zero expectation. I don't even usually watch trailers. I was really looking forward to this. Not to say I was like let down, but yeah. I expected way too much. And again, it's a good movie, but yeah, I needed more meat. As
I said in a previous video, there's some Giallo elements to this movie. Like, you full on get to see the killer with black gloves. He's got the black hat,
the fedora, the black hooded mask on,
just like how we do our silly little skits where I show up as the Giallo killer,
and I roll my eyes.
Yeah, that is what the guy looks like.
Yeah, we audibly both giggled in the theater every time.
Yeah, but that's like kind of where it ends. Like there's some kind of like crazy lighting like how we have right now that kind of has like a Argento Giallo feel to it. But that's really it. There is something in this movie that kind of let me down that I wanted to talk about, and not to say the movie was bad at all, but in the beginning of the movie, we are shown Maxine as being this almost Sarah Connor-esque badass.
Yeah.
Where she is being pursued by this man who's going to attack her, and she pulls a gun on him, makes him strip, and makes him literally suck the barrel of the gun, and she squishes his balls into oblivion on the pavement.
It took everything out of me not to cheer in the theater because I was, A, cackling quietly to myself, but B, again, I wanted to clap and cheer.
It was so good and awesome, and I was led to believe, like, holy crap, that we're gonna get, like, Maxine being, like, a fucking badass bitch this whole movie, but that's kind of where it ends. But it is a great moment, don't get me wrong. I just wanted them to take it throughout the rest of the movie.
Keep giving us that. We like that.
It's just like halfway through the movie, Maxine kind of loses her badass edge in a weird way.
She's trying too hard to get in with the studios, with all of the people involved.
Yeah, it's almost like she's just like
people-pleasing.
She gives in to the director.
And it's sad.
Because the director wants her to be like, you have to give everything to this role. So it almost is like they lead you to believe like, oh, Maxine is just like kind of not being this badass bitch anymore because she wants to do well for this role. She wants to be a star so bad.
She walks, you start the movie with her walking down into that audition and nailing it.
Yeah, that's a badass moment.
And then walking out and taunting the other girls who all look like her.
Yeah.
Because it's the 80s and that's the look at the time. But she's like, y'all may as well just go home because I just got it.
I just nailed it.
I was like, yes, girl, be a star.
Yeah.
Get it. And then it kind of all just falls to the wayside. And
yeah,
granted,
she kind of almost gives up.
It could also just be trauma for what she's going through. And then I was a little surprised at her lack of reflection on what happened in X.
A little bit.
Granted, it was, what,
6 years ago. This is 1985 and X was 1979.
Exactly. So a lot of time has passed. You don't get over things so much as you kind of grow past them a little.
Yeah. All the bit characters, like all the great A-list names that they attach to this movie are all awesome in their roles. Like Kevin Bacon as the sleazy little private eye is incredible and eats up the scenery. But he doesn't really get a lot of character development. Like, he is pursuing Maxine through a lot of the movie. There's even a chase sequence through the Universal backlot with him that's incredible. But his motivation and, like, backstory isn't kind of given enough meat. And same with, like, everyone else. Like, Halsey shows up for 2 minutes, gets murdered.
Bill actually turned to me at one point and said, why is he still here about Kevin Bacon? Like, what are we doing now?
Giancarlo Esposito is Maxine's agent, and he is amazing as well. He is kind of, like, been her agent even through pornography, so, like, you know he's got, like, a hard edge to him.
Even some of our audience was reacting to his first appearance, and then anytime he'd come back throughout the movie.
So good. Incredible. I think him and Kevin Bacon were probably, like, the stars of this movie for me. Michelle Monaghan and Bobby Cannavale as the detectives that are trying to solve all these murder cases.
As I'm watching their scenes, I'm like, oh, the Kiss Kiss Bang Bang girl.
They're great in it, and they do kind of fill that void that Giallo movies push out towards you, where it's like the bumbling idiot kind of cops. So, like, they get that edge, and they have a moment at the end where Bobby Cannavale's like, you know, when he's dying, he like, you know, I never saw the Hollywood sign as he's dying and spitting up blood. That's, like, really cute and kind of very Giallo-esque.
Yes.
All the bit characters are incredible. I just kind of wanted them to have more backstory, a little bit more character development, like kind of like how X and Pearl give you a plethora of information about these characters to make you care about them. Granted, I did care about these people, but they're just not fleshed out fully. So, speaking of her friends, let's talk about the kills in this movie. So, there is some great gore effects. Like we said, she stomps a dude's balls, and you get to see it all in bloody detail. Kevin Bacon is, like, put in his car by Giancarlo Esposito and his henchmen, and he gets squished into a puddle of blood, and dogs eat all his guts. It's fucking great. It's brilliant. Halsey gets, like, slaughtered and branded in a kind of like gross way, I guess. She gets killed off screen. Maxine's best friend, who works at the local video store, gets like sliced and diced by the Giallo killer. His neck is sliced, he gets stabbed in the face and all this stuff. It's pretty brutal and gnarly, and probably like the most remorse I felt for a character, because he was just a nice guy.
I really enjoyed him.
Yeah. But other than that, there's not much death in this movie. And not that I expected it, because X and Pearl are kind of like light on the deaths, you know what I mean? But this one, taking place in the 80s, going for that like kind of Giallo proto-slasher vibe, I felt like it needed more. Like, not until the ending scene where she's kidnapped by her father and she's surrounded by all the religious cult members and the cops start slaughtering all those people do we get a big, huge death sequence.
I will say, if there's anything I really enjoy about Ty West's take on it, and it not being so slasher heavy, because it was more of a
it is going for the A24 art house angle.
Yes, that too.
The 80s aesthetic is on full display.
Yeah.
You got a soundtrack from like Judas Priest, ZZ Top,
Yeah.
the Kim Carnes Betty Davis Eyes song is playing. All the clothing's great. All like the atmosphere is great. Very
Maxine looked phenomenal.
fantastic. The cocaine is just flowing, just like as you'd expect. It's a great, fun time. It just felt like it needed to be fleshed out a little more. So don't take our word.
I needed more meat.
Yeah. Don't let us make it seem like it was bad, because we're kind of...
It wasn't bad at all.
We're kind of saying a lot of the cons of the movie, but it's just because we were very critical of it because we wanted it to be so good. It's still fun. It just needed a little bit more for us.
Essentially every rewatch of X I've done, I've really enjoyed it even more.
This'll probably only get better for me upon revisiting. Yeah. And if you want to know, like, our thoughts on X and Pearl, just dive into our letterbox. I wrote, like, a long, lengthy review the other day after rewatching them, just so that way, like, my ideas were fresh. What would you give Maxine?
I gave it a 3.5 out of 5. I gave X a 4 and Pearl a 3, so I figured it deserved a spot right in between.
Yeah.
It may change again with rewatch.
I also gave it a 3.5. I'd say it's probably more leaning towards the 3 than the 4 for me. Like, not that I disliked it, trust me. I just think my expectations were a little high, like I said. The gore is awesome. Mia Goth knocks it out of the park once again. All the bit characters are so memorable and funny and awesome. The soundtrack's great. The look of the film is great. It's shot well. It's everything you kind of want and everything that you kind of expect. But I wanted to be surprised a little bit more, especially in the reveal of the killer being her father. It's kind of a little on the nose. You don't need to see Pearl to see this movie, but I definitely recommend seeing X just so you have like a feel for the characters and you get a more visceral reaction when Maxine is having her flashbacks of when she kills Pearl in X and all the death and all that stuff. Guys, thank you for watching our video of Maxine. Sorry for a little all over the map. We still don't really know completely how to feel about it, but it is good. It's what you expect, but it's still a great time. Thank you guys so much for watching this review. Hopefully we didn't spoil too much. Just kidding, we spoiled a whole lot.
The whole movie.
But definitely go see Maxine while you still can. Let us know what you think about this Ty West trilogy in the comments below. What'd you think of Maxine or any of the other movies? We love you all so much. And until the next video, you guys, be a star like Maxine and Victoria here. Adios.
You just called me Victoria, that's disgusting.
Oh,
bye!
Adios. I'm kind of fucking this up a little bit.